Uh, in the last class, we started Karma Yoga, chapter 3, right? And I told you that second chapter in itself contains everything that Gita is about. Every other chapter after that is an expansion or in-depth discussion of the topic that is already mentioned in the second chapter, right? Second chapter in and of itself is the whole of Gita. Now, why does the third chapter come about, right? That was, and the two questions of Arjuna introduce the necessity of giving more details about the Karma Yoga aspect of the second chapter, which was introduced in a very in a simple manner in the second chapter without a lot of details, right? So Arjuna's question at the beginning of the third chapter is this. He says, Jayasi chet karmanaste mata buddhihi janardana tat kim karmani ghore mam niyojayasi keshava vyamishrena iva vakyena buddhim mohayasi iva me tadekam vada nischitya yena shreyaha aham apnuyam. So that is the question. Fourth chapter. Which is, what he is saying is, te mata, in your opinion, Krishna, if jnana or buddhi or jnana, understanding, knowledge, is far greater than actions, right? Then it would be normal to expect you to tell me to follow jnana marga, right? But instead you are saying not just follow karma, you are saying I need to follow ghora karma. Correct? So there are three levels here. Jnana, right? So there is a jnana marga, then there is a karma marga, and then Gauri karma. I think it's probably cognates English and Sanskrita. Gauri. That means these are war, murder, all of these things come under this one. Jnana, you can say this is japa, dhyana, puja, meditation, all of these come under jnana marga. Karma marga is your everyday activities, right? Everyday activities, pursuing your career and doing all those things as a grihastha becomes your karma marga. So, if knowledge is greater than karma or Gauri karma, which it is, then why are you asking me to do this and not follow this, right? Krishna should have told Arjuna to follow japa, dhyana, meditation, go to some secluded region, place, and follow all those things. Instead of that, he's saying, not just that, he's saying you go fight the war, which is full of murder and all the baser emotions are, there in a war. So you're asking me to do this, and Arjuna is saying, I do not understand why you would say that, right? And we had this discussion. Why is knowledge far greater than karma?
Because karma ends in a never satisfaction cycle.
Correct, right? Karma, I said karma is nothing but kama, desire, because the motivation of karma, there is always a desire from which karma arises, right? So that means karma leads to karma leads to karma. So karma is always never ending, right? Karma always goes on forever, exponentially, it multiplies, never ends. Knowledge ceases karma. That means you like something, and we have all had this experience, right? Yeah, I like something, but then after I came to know about it, I no longer desire it, right? So knowledge actually ceases your actions. But actions generate actions because desire generates desire, right? So that's why knowledge is, karma is always multiplying. Knowledge brings cessation to karma, and therefore karma is very low, knowledge is very high, right? And especially karma like this is the lowest, is the worst. Because not only this begets more karma, this begets tamas. That means it gives you a lot of dukkha because of this. But what Krishna is telling Arjuna is to go do this. And Arjuna is very confused. Vyamishrena iva vakyena. You say knowledge is good, but you are telling me go fight the war. And I see of no conceivable way of connecting a war with knowledge. Right? How can I fight the war and become a jnani? I don't see. I can go do japa, dhyana and all of those things. They are connected to knowledge. But war, I don't see it connected to knowledge. So, Vyamishrena iva vakyena buddhim mohayasi iva me, it's as if it's confusing me. So, tadekam vada nishchitya yena shreyaha aham apnuyam. You tell me one thing, nishchaya, one fixed thing which is good for me. Right? Instead of confusing this way, telling both things, just tell me one way where it is good for me. So that's where we ended last time. Right? And Krishna, Sri Bhagavan Vacha, Krishna says in the third one, Loke asmin dvivida nishta pura prokta maya anagha jnana yogena sankhyanam karma yogena yoginam. So, I said before this, we need to understand two things. The concept of what? Pravritti karma and nivritti karma. So, I'll ask you, I'll give you a name a few karmas, and then you should tell me whether it comes under nivritti or pravritti. So it's what is pravritti? What is pravritti karma?
Action without desires.
No. Pravritti means vartana. That means those actions that arise from, out of, and for the satisfaction of desires which is only for self. That is pravritti, right? This is only self. Right? Nivritti is those actions that arise from and for the satisfaction of those desires that is greater than oneself. So this is selfish, this is more than self. Right? So nivritti is more than self. Nivritti as in retirement, called retirement for activity. So this is active pursuing of karma. This is not. Right? Okay. Partying, is it pravritti karma or nivritti karma? Yeah, are you sure?
Sure. Unless you throw a party for somebody else.
Okay. For what?
Unless you throw a party for somebody else.
Fundraising.
Fundraising. Okay.
Maybe.
Okay, yeah, see, now you are. Okay. Drinking, pravritti or nivritti?
Drinking what?
Alcohol.
Water. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not even karma.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, drinking alcohol, right, is that pravritti or nivritti?
Pravritti.
Why is it pravritti? It doesn't excite, right? You drink, you become sober. This excites.
Craving. You're satisfying
You're satisfying your craving. So, drinking goes here. Japa, chanting. Okay. Meditation. Okay. So, this is war. Murder. Nivritti or pravritti? No, not just because Arjuna is doing it. No, but a war. Is it a pravritti karma or nivritti karma? So this is war. Murder. All of these things. All of these things. And also, if you're a workaholic, because you are self-aggrandized. You want to be respected by ambitious. Yeah, ambitious. Ambition is a pravritti or nivritti. So because I don't want to just show all the negatives, because even positive comes under pravritti, right? So ambition, over ambition, I should say, over ambition. Now, what is the difference between this and this? Both are pravritti karma, but what is the difference between those two? This is good, perfectly legal. This is good. You're ambitious, that's good. Murder is not. Why is that? Both are pravritti karmas.
I think isn't it an issue of tamasic, rajasic mixture?
Correct. See, this one, ambition is purely rajasic. Right? So that means it gives you good phala, but not knowledge. That means when you do this ambition, right, you get riches. Those are all rajasic. They do not end in knowledge, right? But this one, murder, starts with rajas, ends in tamas, right? So pravritti has two things. Pravritti karma can either be purely rajasic or can be rajasic leading to tamasic, right? So this is rajasic, which is craving, leading to tamasic, which is the state of mind you acquire after it. So this is tamasic, right? War is rajasic, leading to tamasic, because it is a lot murder and inhumane, right? All of those inhumane things. This is purely rajasic. Right? So that's how it is. So pravritti karma can either be purely rajasic or can be rajasic tamasic, right? Because always the motivation for even tamasic is rajasic, because rajasic is what is motivating. For Hitler, his kritya, what he did, is tamasic, but ambition which led him to do it, right, that is rajasic. So so wherever there is rajasa, there is bound to be tamasa. So always there. You go to one extreme, it will bring you down to the other extreme. It's only sattva that keeps you level-headed, right? And these are all sattvic. So rajasic and tamasic comes here, sattvic comes here.
So sattvic is also a type of desire.
Yes.
You're desiring to be better, or desiring for your own satisfaction.
No, this is also our own satisfaction.
Yeah, but for different purposes. But do you still have to overcome
No. There is a concept of gunatita, but that's later on, chapter 13 or 14. But you need sattva guna. You have to cultivate. You cannot overcome it. You have to cultivate that, and that guna takes you higher. By its very nature, this takes you higher, because this is calming. This is exciting and depressing, both of them together. Right? So you can see that nivritti karma is always sattvic, pravritti karma is rajasic and tamasic. Right? So Krishna says, Jnana yogena sankhyanam, karma yogena yoginam. Jnana yoga comes under which one, and karma yoga comes under which one? Jnana yoga comes under? Jnana yoga comes under nivritti. Okay. Jnana yoga comes under. Okay. Karma yoga? No. That's the thing, right? So, dvividha nishta is, nivritti is two kinds. This one is two kinds. This jnana yoga and karma yoga. Right? Both yogas that Krishna is talking about, jnana yoga and karma yoga, he is only talking about nivritti karma. This is not even a sadhana. Nishta, right? Loke asmin. What does loka mean? What is loka? So, loka doesn't mean world. Loka means
Plane of existence.
people. Loka means people. Societies, people, groups of people. That's what loka rudi. That means it's popular among people, right? So loka means you're looking at people, groups of people or society. So loke asmin, that means among people, dvividha nishta. There are two kinds of nishta. What is nishta? No.
Right.
Nishta means a state of being. Nistha. Stha, what is stha? Being, right? Ways of doing. There are two ways of doing among people. Or there are two sadhana margas among people. Right? Whenever you talk about sadhana marga, it is always nivritti karma. You never need any sadhana to do this. It comes naturally. Right? Nivritti doesn't come naturally. You need a sadhana for this, not for this. Right? So, nivritti marga, there are two margas. Loke asmin dvividha nishta, pura prokta maya anaga, that I have told you before. Right? Pura prokta. Maya anaga. What does anaga mean? He's saying that to Arjuna. What is anagha? Agha means what? Agha means papa. Right? Anagha means sinless. In English you can say sin and papa are not the same, but anagha means one who has not sinned or one who is not a papi. Punyavanta means anagha. Right? So that is in the estimation of Krishna, Arjuna is like that. So, oh sinless one, Arjuna, among people there are two ways of doing. There are two sadhana margas that I have told you before. What are those? Jnana yogena, Sankhyanam jnana yogena nishtha, yoginam karma yogena nishtha. That means for the Sankhyas, that means for the people who are in the path of knowledge, it is Jnana Yoga sadhana. For the people who are in the path of actions, it is Karma Yoga sadhana. Both of them are nivritti karma. Now the thing is, all of us said murder and war is pravritti karma. And that's what Krishna is telling Arjuna to do. But Arjuna is a karma yogi, according to Krishna in this chapter. But that is, karma yoga comes under nivritti karma. How is that possible?
Selfless one, right? I thought the purpose is different on karma yoga.
Correct.
Which is, you do the action, but you don't worry about the result.
If you say don't worry about the result, again, you can do any kind of action and not worry about the result.
Do what for the benefit of others.
Okay, let's see. Right? So now this is the thing. So Krishna is saying, nivritti karma, there are two kinds of karmas overall. Pravritti karma and nivritti karma. Pravritti karma, what does pravritti karma lead to? I said pravritti karma is caused by rajas and tamas. What does rajas and tamas lead to? Yeah, Mishra, rajas is Mishra, Sukha Dukkha Mishra. And tamas is always dukkha. That means, there are two things. You have mukti, right? Sattva leads to mukti. Rajas leads to what? Nitya samsara. That means desire multiplies, action multiplies, never ending actions. Actions never end. Your rebirths never end. Right? There are a lot of people ask this question. So, somebody, all of us will get mukti at some point of time in the future. There is no rule like that. We can be nitya samsaris. That means we can never go into sattva marga. We will not be bad, but we will not be sattvas. We will be rajasic. That means we will be always desirous. So that will always lead to more and more and more and more and more and more karma, and there is no end to it. Endless karma. That becomes nitya samsara. That means you will always come in some form or the other. Either you born as a cockroach, or some vegetable, or a cow, and then a man, and all that, and then again cockroach, and it goes on and on and on and on forever without end. That is possible. So do not be under any kind of an illusion that mukti at some point of time is given. Nothing like that. Right? Mukti, that's why mukti is a sadhana. If it is given at some point, there is no need for a sadhana. Right? If not today, tomorrow, if not tomorrow, day after, that's fine. Why should I work? It's only 2 days late. Let me be late. Right? That is not true. If you do not do sadhana, you will never be a mukta. You will either be nitya samsari, right? Which is what all the actions that we are doing today is all nitya samsara actions. Right? We are not evil, but we are not saints either. We are in the middle. We are in the rajas part. So that means that leads to good action. We do some good, that will give us good. We'll do also bad, that will give us bad. And again good, bad, good, bad, good, bad. That's it. That continues forever. That becomes nitya samsara. What about tamas? Where does tamas lead to? Ghora dukkha. Right? Nitya samsara leads to what? Mixture. That means in this world, we are both happy and sad, right? That mixture is there. That samsara. Dukkha. Lower lokas. Adho lokas. Andhan tamo lokas. All of those lokas. Naraka lokas. Those lokas. That nivasa. That is tamas. Right? All this and all the animals that are nocturnal, they are tamas. Right? They don't see the sunlight. Right? All those kinds of being in dark, being at night, they are at the edge of tamas. As you go down, asura, narakalokas, all of those things, they are the other end. Right? Above that is nitya samsari. Above that comes mukti yogyas, devas, and all of those things. So there's a whole spectrum of beings, from light to middle, which is us, to complete little dark, complete darkness. In the realm of asuras and all of those stuff. So these two are like that. If without a sadhana, you can either always be in samsara without an end, or you will go down, in stages to the worst of dukkhas, never to come up again. Right? So you can have any of these states. But if you are in sattva, then what happens? Then sattva is always takes one higher, not just higher lokas, higher states of being and all of those stuff, and then finally to mukti, because that's the one that gives you knowledge. Right? So that is why sadhana is necessary. And mukti is not a given. Right? Mukti is not a given, therefore sadhana is necessary. And for sadhana, there are two kinds of sadhana. Jnana sadhana, karma sadhana. Right? Now the question is this. Without knowledge, there is no mukti. Because knowledge destroys desire. Right? When we understand, our baser desires are destroyed. Right? But now karma yoga cannot be just action. Correct? Karma yoga cannot be just action. So what is the difference between karma yoga and jnana yoga is both are jnana margas. See, nivritti karma is a jnana marga. That means these are two ways of doing things, both of which lead to knowledge. Right? One of the thing is yatyashrama. That means yatis, sannyasis. They follow major of this. Dhyana, japa, all the meditation, everything is one, sankyas. For us, grihasthas and others, karma marga is more of karma, but to a lesser extent, knowledge. But both are driven by knowledge. That means, again, we can do all of these things in the morning and go to our duties. And do our duties in such a way that it again leads to knowledge. Why is this necessary? That's the whole thing that Krishna will go on later. The necessity of this is, because if you look at the second chapter, it looks like, cutting off desire. All of these things, they are very individualistic pursuits. Correct? Japa, meditation, these are what? These are not community pursuits. These are individualistic pursuits. Individualistic pursuits by themselves is not practical in society, because a society has to live, right? Society has to live and grow. So you need pursuits for people within society, not just out of society, right? We can understand Sankhya Marga, where okay, I can leave everything and go do all these sadhanas, that's fine, but society has to live, right? Somebody has to guide society. So you need to have a marga of knowledge for people to do what they are already doing and yet be in Nivritti Marga. Do you understand the importance of this Karma Yoga? If there was no Karma Yoga, what would it mean for society?
No hope.
No?
No hope virtually.
In what sense? For society, no hope?
Yeah, because Karma Yoga actually provides a path, a mechanism, if you will, a process to actually get enlightened, become aware, if you will.
Okay.
And so, because it's not practical to just, detach yourself from society or walk away from society. So basically, Karma Yoga is great. If Jnana Yoga was the only way to enlightenment or to knowledge, it would have been very difficult, because I know I couldn't have achieved that. And at least with Karma Yoga, I can select that there is a way for me to actually achieve some kind of salvation.
Not salvation.
Not salvation, enlightenment.
Yeah.
Awareness.
If everybody becomes a sannyasi, then there is no continuation.
Correct. Right? You cannot have a Jnana Marga alone. Then that means you are forcing, you want to be a Jnani, then leave society. You cannot be with your family, you cannot be doing all this. Get out. That's not practical, right? Not everybody can be sannyasis. Right? Sannyasa Marga is also one marga, and it's considered as a very good marga, because there's very less distraction if you are a sannyasi than if you are a samsari. Distraction is very less for a sannyasi.
But the sannyasis also need people reaction. Otherwise, when they're going to get their bhiksha, if there is no household, when they're going to get
Who's going to put them?
it's going to end.
Yeah. Right? So, what Karma Yoga is bringing to the table is a path through Nivritti Marga to knowledge, and from knowledge to mukti, for a person still being in society and doing what he is doing, whatever be the karma, whatever be the station in which he is in society. Right? That is the greatness of Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga says, no, you don't need to become a sannyasi to become a mukta. No, you can still be what you are, do what you do. Just switch the attitude in which you are doing, and then you'll become a karma yogi. You don't have to leave everything and go to get into Nivritti Marga. You still can do what you are doing, but in a different way, and become a karma yogi and become a mukta. So that is the greatness of this chapter. What this chapter is saying is this. That means you don't have to be somebody else. Basically that comes down to this. You don't have to be somebody else to become a mukta. You can be yourself. Do whatever you are doing and still be mukta. Just by changing the way you are doing things. Right? That is what Karma Yoga is. That is what the whole chapter is about. Right? So, Loke asmin dvivida nishtha pura prokta mayanagha jnana yogena sankhyanam karma yogena yoginam. Right? So for all of us, what is the path then? Can we all become Sankhyas or Yogis? Karma Yogis, right? Yogis are Karma Yogis. Yeah? So why is that? Because that is the path in which you can be what you are, do what you're doing, and still pursue Nivritti Marga. So there is a way out even for us. Right? That is the greatness of this chapter. Which is telling you, there is a way, even for you, whatever you are doing today, there is a way. Right? So, now, in the next few verses, what this chapter, the first portion of this chapter is expanding on, is the concept that Krishna introduced of karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phalaheturbhu ma te sangaha astu akarmani. That final, let not your association be with inaction. Right? That he is expanding in the next few verses. What does that mean? And he says, na karmanam anarambhat naishkarmyam purushaha ashnute nacha sanyasanadeva siddhim samadhigacchati. What it means? Naishkarmya. What Naishkarmya means is this. Naishkarmya is a name for mukti. Right? Like just like water can be jala, salilam, vari, neeram, all of these means water. Right? The same way, mukti, nirvana, naishkarmya, all of these mean mukti, but in different ways. Right? Nirvana means what? The last shloka of second chapter said, Brahma nirvanam mruchyati. What is nirvana? What did I say nirvana was? Nirbana, actually nirbana, nirvana, both.
Means reducing rajas and tamas and...
What does it mean? The word itself. Bodiless. Correct? Banam means body. Right? Nirbanam or nirvanam means bodiless. So it is saying, your mukti state is finally state of aprakrita. That means you have no body. Either physical body or sukshma sharira or ajnana. Any of those things are not there. That's why that's a state of nirvanatva. Nirvana means bodiless. No prakriti is embodying you. That is what it means. Mukti means what? Mochana. Much means what? Mochana means what? Freeing. Right? It's a free state. You are not bound by anything. That's why it is mukti. Right? What is naishkarmya?
Doing nothing.
Exactly. Actionless state. Nishkarma. Nishkarma means there is no karma. It's an actionless state. So, mukti is an actionless state. Okay? So, there are three. I've introduced you three words. One is nirvana. That means it has no prakrita body. Mukti. That means you are completely free. And what is naishkarmya means it is a state of actionlessness. Right? So, now the question begins. Because Krishna introduced the subject of karma yoga, right? Attaining mukti through your karmas is what karma yoga is. Now he has to give you more details of what this not being actionless means. Because mukti is a state of actionless. And you cannot attain mukti through actions. Am I going too fast? Okay. Mukti cannot be attained through actions. Yes or no?
Can be. Yes, karma yoga.
No, but I'm not talking about karma yoga. I'm talking about action, just karma.
What's through karma?
Can mukti be attained through karma?
Yeah.
No.
You have to do the action.
No.
Sadhana.
Yeah, correct. You have to do. See, that's the thing.
That's what he said, mukti, brahma.
That's why, there are different links. I'll give you all those different things. When I said something, I jumped that link. Now I want to go in detail into that link. So let me go in detail into that link. Okay. See, mukti, right? So this is the state of mukti. Na anya panta vidyate ayanaya is a Veda mantra, which means there is no other path to mukti other than knowledge. Right? Mukti is jnana. Right? Whenever I say jnana, true jnana always opens up bhakti. So it's a jnana bhakti marga. Okay? So leave this word, jnana. So there is no karma marga to mukti. There is only one marga to mukti. There is one way to becoming free. And that is to get the understanding. There is no other way. Na anya panta vidyate ayanaya. That is Veda mantra itself. There is no way to mukti other than one thing, knowledge. Or I should say wisdom. Experiential knowledge. That is the only way to mukti. Karma is not the way to mukti. Okay? But karma, okay.
Then how do you get experiential knowledge?
Exactly, right? See, karma. What is the nature of karma? Karma leads to chitta shuddhi. Karma leads to chitta shuddhi. Chitta shuddhi lets jnana take root. Jnana leads to mukti.
So in a way, karma does lead to mukti.
Correct. But not all kinds of karma lead to mukti, right? So karma directly cannot lead to mukti.
I agree.
Right? So when I say karma cannot lead to mukti, I cannot say this. I cannot say this.
Straight to mukti.
Right? This is not the thing, right? So, yes, karma leads to mukti, but karma leads to mukti through jnana. It is jnana that leads to mukti. Right? So that is the subtle differences that because I will be contradicting myself so many ways, so just to make sure that you are understanding. Because what's that? Are you sleeping or not, right? So when I said there is karma yoga, yes, there is karma yoga. Right? But karma yoga is also jnana marga. Right? Because you are doing the karma in such a way that leads to chitta shuddhi, which leads to knowledge, which leads to mukti. Right? Even yatis, sannyasis are also doing karma. Right? They are doing japa, dhyana, meditation. Every one of those things are karma. Right? There is one class of karma, there is another class of karma. Those japa, dhyana and all of those things, they directly have a bearing into chitta shuddhi. But also everyday action that we do can also be done in such a way that it leads to chitta shuddhi. And so, when I say karma does not lead to mukti, your understanding should be, yes, it does not lead to mukti directly. And I said karma leads to mukti also, that means, yes, karma leads to chitta shuddhi. Karma cleanses. See, that's exactly how karma is the cleaning agent. Right? Knowledge comes in when we are clean. Then that leads to mukti. Until we are shuddha, knowledge cannot take root. Right? But knowledge is the one that gives you mukti. Karma is the one that sweeps us, that makes us pure. Right? So these are the relative positions of this. And that's why when Krishna says knowledge is far superior to action, it is true. Right? Knowledge.
Could you explain how karma is a cleaning agent in simple terms?
So karma is a cleaning agent, not every karma, right? So karma is a cleaning agent when let's say you're doing unselfish karma, right? You're doing a service. So that service, right? That service changes your mental attitude and it makes you receptive to understanding.
So is it transforming?
Yes, correct. Right? Cleansing or transforming, as well as karma, as in directly, meditation is a karma, right? Which is directly cleansing you, right? Japa, all of those things they are all directly cleansing you, but also service and all of those things, they are taking off your ahankara. When your ahankara comes down, your learning capacity increases, right? So, karma makes the place ready for jnana to take root. Right? Until that happens, whatever you do, you can never become a jnani. Karma is completely necessary to get jnana. Because karma is the one that prepares you in your attitudes, karma is like practice, right? It is that practice that makes you ready for wisdom, right? So you need it always. You need karma always, because karma is the one that transforms you, that cleanses you from, and then wisdom takes root. Once wisdom takes root, you can be in mukti marga. So you need to understand that difference. So what Krishna said is true, right? What Krishna said is knowledge is far superior than karma, correct? Because knowledge directly leads to mukti. Karma can lead to mukti through knowledge, or karma can lead to nitya samsara or other adholokas, tamas and rajas. So karma can be anything depending on how you think, right? So now he will talk about naishkarmya. It means mukti is called a state of actionlessness, right? Krishna says, na karmanam anarambhat naishkarmyam purushaha ashnute. This is very beautiful, right? Mukti is a state where you have no actions, right? One of the understanding about that, or one of the rationality that you can give is, okay, action leads to action. I said action leads to action, correct? Do you agree or not? Does action lead to action? Yes. If I stop action, there will be no action. If I act, then it will lead to another action. If I don't even act. See, you did not think that, right? Action leads to action, which means no action. I will stop acting. Simple. You said karma is here. I will not even do karma.
It becomes tamas.
No, you're taking a name, right? Let's not categorize. Tamas is fine. It's okay. But I'm saying no, it is not tamas, it is sattvic. Because why is jnana sattva? Because it destroys karma. Right? But now I'm saying, if not, action leads to no action, I will not even act.
But some actions are necessary. If you don't do that, then you kind of back on it, come back to the...
I will not even do anything.
Nature in such way it will make you to do action.
Okay, so you all read a few more words.
Karma, action, you can be a mukti and still act, but your action will not be karma forming, because you are not doing it for desire, you're not doing out of selfishness. So even everything that you do is not actually creating any karma. So as a mukti, a person who has become enlightened can still perform any type of activity without actually creating karma.
But it still doesn't answer the question, why should I act when action leads to action? Yes, okay, whatever you say, maybe that's another category. But my simple question is, if action leads to action, inaction leads to nothing. So why not be inactive?
Is it practical?
That's the question, right? So what Krishna is saying is this: na karmanam anarambhat naishkarmyam purusham ashnute. Just because action leads to action and action leads to another action, a person cannot rationalize and say, I will not act at all. That you cannot stay inactive and reach this state of actionlessness. Yes, mukti is also called state of actionlessness for some other reason. But by not acting, you will not reach a state of actionlessness. Right? Leave that fantasy. Right? It is not possible. Then he says, Nacha sanyasanadeva siddhim samadhigacchati. Just by giving up, sanyasanad means give up. Just by giving up, you will not attain siddhi or success. That means, this is answering the question, okay, I give up desire. Krishna is saying, being inactive is not the solution. Right? Being inactive does not break the cycle of action. No. Nor does giving up desire break the cycle of action. Both are not the solution. Do you understand the difference between what he's saying? Okay. The first part of the shloka is saying action leads to action, action leads to action, and it's an endless cycle. Then at some point of time, I can become inactive and break the cycle. Right? That means you are attaining mukti through inactivity. Krishna is saying that's not possible. That's not a solution. And in the next few verses he will talk about that. Again, then he is also saying, just by giving up desire, you cannot become mukta. Right? Because right now we have all talked about giving up desires, selfless and all that. Krishna is saying, Nasya sanyasanadeva siddhim samadhigacchati. No. Even if you give up desire, even then you will not become mukta. Those two things you cannot be. Why is that? He says, Nahi kaschit kshanam api jato tishtati akarma krit karyate hi avashaha karma sarvaha prakriti jaihi gunaihi. First part of the thing he's saying, see, Nahi kaschit kshanam api, even for one moment, always, jatu, always, even for one moment, right? A person, right, Purushaha, cannot be what? Akarmakrit means what? A person cannot sit doing nothing even for a moment. I will challenge Krishna. I can sit without doing anything.
You could be thinking about things.
Correct, right? So when he's saying, even if you are not doing, you are still doing. I mean, you're still breathing, you're still thinking, a lot of activities are still going on. You cannot turn every activity down. That never happens. Right? So karma is natural. Right? So what he's saying is, Nahi kaschit kshanam api, even for one kshana, even for one moment, jatu, at any time, right? Can one be akarmakrit, inactive, in the complete and full sense of the word. There will be some activity going. And see the second sentence says, Karyate hi avashaha karma sarvaha prakriti jaihi gunaihi. That means, karyate. See, karyate is passive. Active and passive, right? Active tense and passive tense, whatever they call that.
Inertia?
No. See, karomi is I do. Karyate means it is done through me. Right? What do you call it in English? Yeah, active and passive, right? So, passive. Here it's saying, even if you want to not do anything, then, avashaha, even without your control, karyate, things get done through you. Even without your control, things get through you. How? Sarvaha prakriti jaihi gunaihi. By the prakriti gunas. What does that mean? Even if I don't want to do anything, prakriti will make me do. What does that mean?
Breathe and get hungry.
Yeah, you breathe, you get hungry. Yes.
Rajas, Sattva and Tamas gunas.
Yeah.
They're always acting.
They're always acting. So they will always make us do something. Right? But what if a person is like Kumbhakarna? Kumbhakarna is inactive.
But he may be breathing, sleeping, getting good dreams.
Good dreams. Right? So, what you have to conceive of a human being is this. The body is 99% controlled by Prakriti. 1% controlled by jiva. Right? When I consciously take something and keep it down, what is acting? Jiva. Right? 99% of the time, what happens? I act unconsciously. What is the translation of unconscious in Samskrita? What is conscious in Samskrita? Jnana. What is unconscious? We are all in Ajnana means what? Unconscious. Right? You are not conscious of what you are doing. That's all it is. And unconscious means your body. So that means the person that you are, it's actually two of you. One is your body, Prakriti as in nature, right? And other one is Jiva. Two of them. That means you are like riding a big car with one steering wheel. Right? When you are aware of the steering wheel, you can turn this way and that way. Jiva comes out. Right? Otherwise, 99% of the time, the car is driving by itself. You are not even aware of what you are doing. You are just going. That is what is Prakriti Jaihi Gunaihi Karyate. That means when you are not even aware of what you are doing, are you doing? That's why Karyate. That means it is being done by you. You are simply going for the ride. Right? Things are happening. It's all habitual. What does happen? See, a habit is it in the domain of Jiva or is it in the domain of Prakriti? Prakriti, right? A habit is in the domain of Prakriti because it's body acting, right? But when you do something with awareness, it is a Jiva acting. Even though it is through body, it is still Jiva acting. It is not any of the Guna acting. Do you get the difference? Right? So that is the difference between Prakriti Jaihi Gunaihi Karyate and Aham Karomi. It means I do.
Just 1% that you are it's very small.
Yeah.
It's just 1%.
Don't you think? No?
I need more.
Huh?
I need more.
Oh, you not need. Right? That is the sadhana. The expanding that becomes sadhana, right? But if you are in pravritti karma, what the body is taking over more and more and more, right? Body is taking over more and more. And body, what does body want? Hita or priya? Does body want hita or body want priya? Priya, right? Body wants priya. It doesn't care about hita, right?
So in the most fundamental form, even the act of breathing, it happens unconsciously.
Correct.
I'm not aware of my breath coming in or breath going out.
Yes.
It just takes place.
Correct.
So that would be a prime example of Prakriti
Acting.
enforcing itself.
Yes.
And in meditation, in fact, that's one of the first things they make you do is become aware of your breath
Exactly.
coming in and breath coming out, because now you're conscious of even that small action that we take for granted.
Correct. And it is that awareness that goes back to the first point of Sankhya, which is what? Body and Jiva are different. Only when you have that awareness, you know that. Otherwise, it's the body driving, that's it. You are the body. That means, because you don't have the awareness of the difference, you are body.
What about Sitapragni? Does he have the same thing?
Or she.
Or she, sorry. do they have the same? Like now, 99% of their control automatically if you Sitapragni?
They are in control. They are in control. So they train the body. So they train the body. So the awareness, their consciousness trains the unconscious parts to be their servant, not the master. When you are 1% and body is 99%, who is the master? Right? And the sadhana is saying that you become the master, body becomes the slave. Body, when you think something, body will do it. Now, no, body will tell me and I have to do it. Right? Body gives me the option. God, body, it's giving me all this, all those hormones and telling me, oh, go there. I passively go there, right? But when I become very, through sadhana, very powerful, then I tame the body. That is what one of the, in the Nivritti Karmas, if you go to one of the, I think 15th chapter or something, Krishna, puts, mentions all the gunas, all the qualities of a person in a Nivritti Marga. He says Dhamma, Shama, all this Japa, Manana, all of those things. What is Dhamma? Dhamma means dominating the self, dominating the senses. That is Dhamma. Shama means calming down the mind. That is Shama. Right? Sham. Right? Shankara. What is Shankara? Sham, peace, happiness. Karoti, he creates happiness. Therefore, Shankara is Shankara because he is the creator. Shambhu is giver of happiness, creator of happiness. That's Shambho Shankara. So Sham is that. Shanti. Sham. Shasya antaha. Shantaha. Sha. That Sha in Shanti is also peace. Stillness. Right? That Sham. Right? Shama, Dhamma, all of those things are Nivritti Karmas. So all of those things come when you tame the body. Dhamma is how? Dhamma is, in English, Dham is dom. Dominate is the same root word where the Sanskrita Dhamma is. Dhamma means you dominate your body and you become the master of it, then the master, body becoming your master. So that is Shama and Dhamma. So that is how sadhana is. Sadhana is taming your body. Right?
Because in fact, even in the Yoga Sutras, Pratyahara, which is basically inward focusing of all the senses, I think that's part of this too, isn't it? Where you exert control and awareness over all your sensory forces.
Correct.
And it's such a big part of
when we say control of the body, the main thing is control of senses. Sense is the one that is, like in the Kathopanishad, the horses that is driving the chariot, which is the body, is the senses, right? Without the horses, the body is not going nowhere, right? So when I say dominate the body, it's actually dominate the senses. So it is the sense that's leading us through the world. So that's what it is, right?
What's the English translation of Jiva?
Is it what?
English translation of Jiva.
There is no English translation of Jiva.
what's the closest word?
Soul, probably, but soul again, like I was saying last time, animals don't have souls in Christianity. But that doesn't make any sense. Something which is living, it has a jiva, right? Be it animal, be it a virus, be it anything, has a jiva. But there is no concept of a living being without a soul. So it is not equivalent to jiva. Self, probably, but it doesn't say any much, right? Self, what does it say? I think the closest translation is self.
So is the conquest is to make the body eventually get rid of all the 99%?
No, you cannot. You'll still have that unaware part of you, right? But that unaware part of you is not dominating the aware part of you. Right? So, whatever you think, your body will agree to it and go with you. So that is what sadhana is. Right? So that is the sadhana part. Okay, you were asking something?
I was just going to, there was some example that was coming to my mind, was something I saw on TV. The Tibetan monks, they do the meditation in cold, and they can control the temperature and stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's probably an example of how you can, how they do it.
Yeah, how it tames the body. Yes. And also, I've read, that conscious part is actually in the front. Did you know that, right? This frontal cortex, this part here, middle, that is where all of your awareness, your consciousness resides here. Everything unconscious resides in this portion. Most of the time, the blood is flowing here for us. Right? Only when we stimulate our frontal, portion, then the blood comes here. When the blood comes here, you feel you are in control. Otherwise, body is in control of you. That means the blood flow is here. So that's why this is very important. Both, males and females, they used to wear those marks in the forehead, because forehead is that important in sadhana. Because that's where awareness resides. It resides here, forehead. That's why you see all kinds of marks in Indian tradition. This way is very recent. I mean, what is they call it? Tiryak Pundra. Tiryak means this side to side. Like Shiva, they wear that. That is always, Pundra is energy rising from here above. Right? Be it Shaivas or Vaishnavas or whatever it is. Tiryak is not a sadhana mark. So you should always have a mark that goes from here up. Right? But then different traditions have different way of doing it. So, but this is very important in your sadhana, because this is where your awareness resides. Right? So, what Krishna is saying is, Nahi kaschit kshanam api jatu tishtati akarma krit. Karyate hi avashaha karma sarvam sarva prakriti jaihi gunaihi. You understand that, no? Prakriti jaihi gunaihi karyate. That means we are in the control of Prakriti's gunas, right? And we are avasha. What does avasha means? What does vasha mean? It is in my control, it is in my possession. That means 99% of the time we are avasha. That means we are not in control of ourselves, something controls us. Right? Prakriti, the universe is controlling us. But universe is what? Is jada, unconscious. How can universe control us?
Through our senses.
No, when I say Prakriti jaihi gunaihi avashaha karyate karma, that means the Prakriti gunas through me are acting, right, and doing things through me. But the Prakriti is jada. It is unconscious. It is jada, right? How will Prakriti control me?
All the time Prakriti teaches.
How will Prakriti teach when it is not even universe has no intelligence?
So basically, these three gunas, they basically represent a balance, a sense of balance. So if you're in a sattvic guna, you are perfectly balanced. You're unattached to good and bad, so on and so forth. You're calm. You have equilibrium. But Rajas and Tamas, they add an effect of being not in equilibrium. And because you're not in equilibrium, there's something that will happen because of that. Action, tendencies, so on and so forth. So Rajas, Sattva and Tamas together represent how balanced a person is. And depending on that vector or direction, that's how you'll go basically.
Right, but my question is, Prakriti is doing through me, but Prakriti is not intelligent. I am. How is Prakriti doing through me when it is not even intelligent?
It's connecting with the jiva.
Oh, yeah.
Prakriti is changing, right? Prakriti changes all the time, right?
Yeah.
So then it changes us too.
It's influencing.
It influences us.
Influences the jiva.
But Prakriti is,
Influencing through our body.
yeah, but it is not intelligent. Or is it?
It's controlled by Paramatma.
It's all connected. We are dependent on.
Okay, so this will connect you back to the third point I made about outcomes are never in our control, actions are, right? So let's connect that here. Let's say here I say I do, right? So this is the jiva, correct? Body does. This is Prakriti. Right? Then God does. Right? This is Paramatma. Right? So when I act, the action has 3 layers. Right? I consciously do. I do. I'm an actor. I do. Right? That's me doing. The body does. The body, even when I do it through the body. So body does. And when I am not doing, even then body does. When I am unaware of it. So the body does. Right? But the body is not intelligent. Prakriti is not intelligent. So what is the intelligence that is guiding the Prakriti? The hand of God. Right? So Paramatma does, therefore Prakriti does, therefore I do. Right? That's what Krishna says. Tasmat ahankara vimudaha karta aham iti manyate. When I say I did the great thing, where does the source of the great thing come from? Right? I did the great thing is, I am claiming a credit for 1.5%. Right? Body has done 80% or 90%. I shouldn't just say, 100% is here. Do you see the karma flow?
Because you can't control your outcomes.
So I should say here, 99.5% here. Right? I intend. Body came along and helped me win something. Right? So I do, body does, Paramatma did through me.
Or should we say enables? God enables us to do. Would that be the right grammar to use?
No, God does. God does. When you say enable, that becomes nimitta. That means enable means I create something, but you do it. Right? What I am saying is God is doing it. See, Ishavasya Upanishad, first verse says, Ishavasyamidam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bunjitaha magruda kasyasviddhanam. Isha avasyam idam means idam sarvam. Everything that exists. Idam sarvam means everything that exists. Jagatyam jagat, in this universe. Isha avasyam. Avasya means what? It's not God is present everywhere. That's not avasya. When you say a house is avasya, that means it is fit for residence. That means it's fit for somebody to live. That is what avasya means. So the Upanishad is not saying God is everywhere in the world. It's not saying that. It says everywhere in the world is fit for the presence of God. That's what it is saying. What does that mean? It means by itself, nothing in the universe has the power to act on its own. Right? Tena vina trunam api nachalati. It means without God's desire, not even a blade of grass moves. That means pravritti is never in the hands of anybody else other than Paramatma. Never. That's why I put 100% here. This is Paramatma Sankalpa, translates into Prakriti, translates into Jiva. Now you should ask me a lot of questions there.
Everyone should be doing most of the time good things, right? Why we are not doing...
Why good things?
Like 100%
good things.
controlled by God, right?
Yeah.
Good things has to
See,
good things always has to happen. I mean, God is...
Okay, this is like, I have to give you the link, right? I jumped something.
So Sunil, the thing is, I'm still stuck with the word enable because God does. If you think about it, God exists. It's a difficult thing to explain because God is both unmanifest and manifest. Okay? And this manifestation.
God is never manifest. God is always unmanifest. I mean, I don't know what Sanskrit equivalent are you using that for, But English manifest,
Well, the thing is this, if you look at the Shiva and Shakti, for example, you've got one that's beyond all attributes, beyond all grammar, beyond anything.
right?
It's difficult to even describe or comprehend.
Which means it is aprakrita.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then you've got the manifest absolute, which basically means that through the physical manifestation that is provided by God, yes,
Prakriti.
you actually learn about God, you actually can know God,
Yes.
and that manifests that energy, whether you call it Shakti or any other term that you want to. That
Prakriti or Shakti, yes. Yeah.
that is providing the playground for us to know and relate to this unmanifest aspect of God, essentially. So 100% God does this manifest aspect of God. That's only what I can use. You're right. I mean, is it truly a correct representation or description? I'm not sure. But this manifestation, this divine manifestation that allows for the creation of this universe is basically also providing the opportunity for everything to act and perform.
Yeah, which is what we said. Prakriti has created the universe, which is the playground for samsara. Right? But it doesn't mean that everybody becomes mukta. Right? Prakriti has given an opportunity, right? But it is embodied as.
Yes.
And then it wants its own thing. That means it wants samsara to go on. Right? But there is an opportunity in a human form to give up that and move to mukta. Right? You can do that. But why is that? I didn't understand how that links to
To that.
Paramatma 100%.
Yeah, because without this manifestation, without this physical creation,
Right?
okay, there would be nothing that's possible. Means everything that's happening today, even the blade of grass that is growing,
Right?
like you said, is because of God.
Yes.
And that ultimately is because this energy, exists everywhere.
Correct.
And so even that blade of grass, that life, it's basically coming from that same source. There's one source for everything.
Prakriti. Prakriti is the source of everything physically manifested. Everything. Paramatma is an Atma, right? He is not source of anything. He is a source of intelligence, not of any physicality. When he said unmanifest, just like Atma cannot be a source of anything because Atma is Chaitanya, right? It cannot give birth to anything. Only Prakriti can give birth to something, right? Only because that is all the Panchabhutas, everything comes under Prakriti, right? Everything is a transformation of Prakriti, right? Senses is Prakriti, objects of Prakriti, everything else is Prakriti. Atma is aprakrita, Paramatma is aprakrita. Paramatma can never be a source of anything physically.
Basic question. Why one has to go towards mukti? It's okay sometimes sad, sometimes happiness.
That's exactly what I said. Right? If you are okay with what you are, there is no need for sadhana. Sadhana only arises because of dissatisfaction.
Do you want to carry on born, that, living in this society all the time?
Yeah.
Even if I don't, so it will happen.
No, it won't happen. You won't get mukti.
Right.
Why I need to have mukti?
If you don't want it, you have to get
Yeah. That's what is the thing. See, the mukti is not, just like, if you are in a religion, it becomes mandatory for you to do this, right? In dharma, it's not like that. If you are dissatisfied with what you have or what you are doing or what you are, then sadhana is there. If you are perfectly satisfied with what you are, there is no need for sadhana. Right? And that's what it looks like. Right? So,
Yeah, how far can we go regarding the ratio 50-50 between Grihastha or...
no, this is always,
I know what I'm saying is, this is how it is going to be.
yeah, this is how it's going to be.
In sadhana, it is not changing.
I mean,
That ratio is not changing.
no, these are two different things, right? Leave the awareness part of it, right? Awareness is this driving? Okay, these are two things, right? This is physically, this is doing, right? And when I said 1%, 99%, who is the master? This is a different question. This is who is doing. Whatever you are doing, whatever you are thinking, everything is through body, right? If today if you are thinking, okay, I have these choices, why do you think that? Because that's what is there in your memory, right? If something is not there in memory, you cannot think about it. So you are completely dependent on the body for that.
What I'm asking you is a totally different thing.
Okay.
I want to become mukta. So you said I need to have 100%, to be free, right? So how will I achieve that one? You said by doing sadhana.
Yeah.
What percentage will be here? 50.
This will not change. This is never changing.
No, you said body is controlling this one here now. I do. I mean.
Right. No. What I'm saying is, okay, maybe I confused everybody here, but this is different. These two are different things.
So by doing sadhana, what do we achieve here?
You are increasing your awareness
Okay.
of this. In your awareness, you are thinking you are this.
Okay.
I achieved it. Right? Vishal made the video. I did it. But that is the thinking. This is the reality. Right?
By increasing my awareness that this is this. Now I got it. So what is going to happen now?
We will see that.
No, I think we are everyone starting at understanding, and all the way we need to go 2.5%.
Correct, right?
And we may be middle 74%, 70%.
See, this is reality. This is how we are. This is how it is. This is in our mind we are liberated. How many of you watch this Dog Whisperer show?
Yeah.
You watch it. Have you seen the dogs with the greatest of egos are always puppies, those small dogs, right? It thinks it owns the house, right? That is what it is. People who are watching the show, we know how dumb it is, right? But in its mind, it thinks it is the owner of the owner, right? It needs to sit on the sofa. It needs to be on the lap always. Otherwise, it will throw a lot of tantrums and all that. Exactly that's in my mind. I think I am great, right? But in reality, this is how it is. My contribution to action is 0.5%. That means I'm driving. When left comes, I go this way, and right comes, I go this way. That is about intent. That is all I have. Yes.
So basically, and I think this is a very important concept which I think will be touched upon in the future.
Right.
But that's all. That's part of the surrender, the ego destruction. Basically, if you truly surrender, okay, it's not something that will happen in the morning and then you forget about it in the afternoon. When you truly surrender yourself to God, it's a 24/7 awareness.
What do you mean by surrender?
Where basically you basically
Surrender means I think that I was thinking I was doing 100%. Naham karta, Hari karta. Right? That is what is surrender. Surrender means, I was thinking I was cause of all this stuff. Now I realize, I was a channel for it.
But the thing is, that's with you in everything that you do. Once you realize that,
Right.
it's not something that you forget, okay, in the afternoon, let's say.
Right.
It's something that's with you constantly.
It should be.
It
Yes.
should be.
Yes.
That's where that 100% comes.
Right.
A saint, for example, if you look at the lives of the saints, the great saints, the way they led their life, everything that they did, even how they conducted their family business, reflected that total surrender.
Correct.
24/7, and it was not something that they were forced to do or they had to conform to anything. It was something that came automatically.
Right. So, I think we are almost out of time. I want to ask you about 2 to 3 questions. before we come back in January. So think about this. Islam means surrendering to the will of God, right? It is perfect karma yoga, right? Okay. Think about that. That is one. Number two. If I am not the doer, it's the God who is doing through me, then whether I sin or I do good action, who is the cause of action? Finally, who is the cause? But who is being punished?
We are.
That's what
That's the most unfair deal. Right? Somebody murders somebody, but the real cause of the murder is Krishna. But the person who is getting punished is this guy. What is his sin?
intention.
Can you email these questions? This is not something that I can answer.
Right?
I'm sitting here.
Right? No, because these are the things that Krishna will talk about all of. But if you read it, I think next time I'll ask the question in such a way that even if you read further, you shouldn't get the answer. Right? But so that is so if God is 100% the cause of everything, and I am just 0.5%, why is it that I get dinged with punishment when I do something wrong?
It's simply like this. God created the rule of gravity. Okay, so and that's a truth. So the thing is if I jump off the 4-story building, I'm going to hurt myself, kill myself.
Right.
So God's rule is causing my serious injury, but I was the one who willfully
No,
jumped.
but when we tell He is the 100%, He is the one who pushed you.
Ours
Right?
is 0.5%. We still have some control over it.
Yeah, but He is pushing you, what control? When 100% guy is pushing, the 99 will say, oh, he's telling push, so I'll push. He's not even physically coming and pushing. He's just saying Prakriti, he'll say. Prakriti will push.
Maybe the prarabdha karma, sanchita.
But all of those things are Prakriti, right? All prarabdha karma, sanchita karma, agami karma, everything is here. I am imprisoned in this, right? He is the one who is doing everything. But I am the one who is getting punished for everything.
We have the choice. We are the ones who decide. It's the outcome we don't actually control.
No, we don't control the outcome. But even our actions are caused by God. When I say 100%, that means everything. Outcome, action, everything is controlled by God. Everything. So the question for you to think for the next class is, if God is the source of 100% of all my karmas, so then why am I being punished for my wrong actions? Because I am not the one who is acting. It is God who is acting through me. You punish Prakriti. You punish God. Why punish me? If I am doing something, 99% is Prakriti, 0.5% is me. Why you punish that 0.5% share when you can punish the 99.5% share or even 100%? Right? That's number one. And then that's a major question. And the second one is, Islam means surrender to the will of Allah. Right? How that is what this karma yoga is. That is what the thing is, right? Sarvam prakriti jaihi gunaihi karyate hi avashaha. That nothing is in your control. Everything is in the control of Prakriti or even God. Therefore, you have to completely surrender yourself to the will of God. So, why is that different from anything different from what Islam is saying? So, I'll mail you these questions today. Give me those new emails that you. Okay. So think about it when we until we meet what, January? January 13th.
It's a long
Right? Okay. Om Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanura Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagatgurum Om